Hello Aries, this is Victoria from Mindful Bamboo and I'm here with your June tarot forecast. I'm so glad you guys joined me today for this tarot reading to get yourself some guidance. We're going to be looking at your love life, at your career and workspace, and also we'll get you some guidance from the universe on how to best navigate the energies of the month of June. I'm going to start with an oracle deck to pull a card to find out what's the phrase on the street, what's the buzz, what do we need to know about, and at the end I'm going to pull some cards from the Hermit tarot deck with some messages from your person of interest to yourself. Right, let's get started right away. Remember, this is general reading, so click on what resonates and leave what doesn't. If you like what I'm doing, leave me a comment, like the video, subscribe to my channel, and if you find that this is not just a reading, you may want to check readings for your other placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. If you don't know what they are, there is a link in the description box below to the website where you can find out. There's also a link to my website where I do blog on mindfulness, a link for donations, and some information about the personal services I provide. I do personal tarot readings and coaching sessions. If you're interested in coaching, most likely we're going to connect for a quick call, 15 or 20 minutes, where we're going to talk about what's your situation, what you're looking for, and I will let you know how I feel I can be of help to you. So your card is Gentle Moderation. That's sweet. Take your time. Pressure from others or yourself can be released by negotiating what you're trying to accomplish. That's not really the Aries strong side, I know, but you know, that's where the lessons lie, the lessons of this lifetime. That you're supposed to not to rush yourself, and it could be especially hard if the pressure is coming from yourself. That's why it says, like, if you don't see, and then it causes anxiety and depression and all of those things. That's why it says that if there is no way for you to kind of change the circumstances where you can be successful in what you do, or at least slow yourself down a little bit so you don't have as much happening as quickly, you know, because a lot of times that's the point of anxiety and stress. So at the very least, then negotiate what you're trying to achieve, right? And maybe adjust your goal for this very moment. So be gentle with yourself. That's why it says gentle moderation, you know, take care of yourself. Otherwise, nobody else will. You need to show up for yourself first and foremost. And it actually reminded me very funny metaphor with the corporate life that I've been working in for a good 12 years. Where, you know, when we have a project and a certain budget and a certain scope of work, a certain timeline, we're always going into the project with awareness of what could be our negotiable points. It could be the scope, like the amount of work that we do. Like if, you know, obviously there are risks. If risks play out, something doesn't go according to the plan, we need to have some sort of buffer, plus we need to have some kind of backup plans, right? So whether it's the amount of work or the timeline, right, that can shift, or the resources that we can use, hence the budget. Right, like people, amount of people, it's not always available in real life, but you know, in projects you have a team that's doing the work, and you can have a variety of ways to work with the resources themselves and with the price that is paid, or the cost around it. So yeah, it just blew my mind how that was relevant to what I was saying. So, you know, if there is a goal and you understand deep down that it's unachievable the way you initially portrayed it, it shouldn't be the end of the world, and you shouldn't be pushing yourself, you know, to go crazy or to exhaust yourself while you're trying to reach it anyway. You're supposed to see what are your options and how to make it healthy. It's still supposed to be healthy. It's still supposed to be as much as possible giving you joy, you know, pleasure, and that learning experience, but in a more or less safe environment. Not like you're going crazy and like, oh my God. So think about that. What is available to you in your situation? Let's look at the tarot spread to see what we have for you in the love life, in the career space and in the advice from the universe. So the first one that came out is Seven of Swords. This is for the love life. 10 of Pentacles, oh no, sorry, 6 of Pentacles, and Page of Cups. The workspace, Ace of Wands, the Devil, and Knight of Wands could be dealing with a Capricorn. And for your advice, you have Knight of Swords, the Chariot, and Nine of Wands. Wow, you have 2 Knights and Chariot. A lot of movement forward. Bottom of the deck, Queen of Cups. But you're supposed to be Queen of Cups in all of this. So it could sound a little bit like a damsel in distress, right? Just kind of like, look at her. She's at the balcony, by the sea, holding her cup of love, waiting for her wonderful someone, right? But it's not really that simple. It's not simple to stay in that energy when there's so much going on in the outside world. And also it doesn't mean that it's not a demeaning notion by itself, right? It's also a skill to hold that love, to hold that space, and to be in that state of like, okay, I can be calm, I can be loving to myself and to other people through this experience. And that's where you're supposed to be. And if you're asked or you're guided to take an action, you're still supposed to have that mindset. Is it bringing love to the situation? If not, maybe it's not the action to take at this time. For your love life, so Page of Cups, 6 of Pentacles, 7 of Swords. Yeah, to me, this looks more or less like a sequence of events. So I'm getting that in the recent past, you may have experienced certain unfairness in your love relationship. Maybe somebody wasn't honest with you, maybe you weren't honest with them, maybe it just didn't seem like a balanced relationship, right? In terms of how much each of the partners were, the effort that each of the partners were putting into it, right? So this is now in progress of rebalancing. With the 6 of Pentacles, it's all about healing those places where there was lack of balance, there was lack of recognition, and maybe even self-love. And you're moving towards the space where you know your worth, and you're also feeling safe to express love. So this is about this giving and receiving energetic exchange. And that is giving a new life to your love relationship, whether it's with the same person or you're starting a new relationship. But if you're single, then the next one that's coming in is going to be with this adorable childlike energy in the best possible way, where you may feel like you're 16 again, right? It's that innocent love full of wonderful emotion and warmth in your heart, you know, and just general pleasure and joy that it's giving you, which is what it's supposed to be doing anyway, you know. Well, as we get older, we get a lot deeper into those pragmatic sides. We also start listening to other people a lot more of like what the family is supposed to be like, what is my partner is supposed to be doing, and that there are also very specific expectations depending on, you know, whether it's a man or a woman, whether it's like a wife or a husband figure, right? And certain additional aspects on top of it from like culture, age, certain groups of people, like what kind of domain you're in, etc., etc. And it just kills that innocence and emotional fulfillment. But it's just as important. It never went anywhere. It's just that you are putting it down the list, and actually it's never supposed to be down the list in your priority set. For the career space, you have Ace of Wands, the Devil, and Knight of Wands. So I get very strong, like there's a lot of fire in this. Well, apart from the Devil, but it kind of could be a little bit fiery. This card is definitely a little bit fiery. So be careful with your fire, Aries. Be careful not to try to control the situation too much, not to kind of decide the fates of people in this situation, right? So that's another point where you will be tempted to just rush in and save the day, or to maybe to fire some people, or just to be the hero of the day yourself, right? Like this Knight of Wands. But be careful with that, because what what I'm getting here is that you will be again cutting yourself short of certain opportunities to build up your profile, to earn valuable support from other people, and to be implementing the loving energy, right? Remember, that's important because that's the law of reciprocity. That's what's going to be coming back to you, or not, depending on how you treat it. So don't go with the rushed energy, don't go with the aggressive energy. Try to kind of cool that fire a bit first with this Queen of Cups notion, and then maybe sleep on it and then act the next day. If you don't have that opportunity, take 5 or 10 minutes for yourself. Have a glass of water, breathe. It's going to help you make more informed choices and not just be emotionally reactive in the situation. And yeah, I'm getting it. For some of you, you may be tempted to make promises that you cannot fulfill. And how devastating is that going to be? That's going to be exactly the opposite of what you're trying to achieve in your career, I'm sure. The advice. You have Knight of Swords, the Chariot, the Nine of Wands. So this is like go forward, or move fast but slow. You know, it's like it has this opposition in energies. So the Chariot is the fast movement. The Knight of Swords is the fast movement, but it's very logical. It's a calculated move. It's not something emotional. And the Nine of Wands, especially in this deck, to me, it's moving at a phased pace, like it's like a comfortable stride if we're talking about someone on a horse, and we have horses here, right? It doesn't mean that you're standing still, you're moving, but take your time to look around, to acknowledge your horse, to acknowledge who else is on this journey with you, right? To feel through your feelings for a moment and then go forward. So that you won't be able to do that if you're riding too fast, if you're just, trying to run. During the run, you're not gonna have that chance. It's only when you slow down that you can notice those nuances. Okay, let's close off with messages from your person to you. I already got a few. So messages for Aries. I need time for me. I think so, yes. I'm manifesting you, and I'm too afraid to talk to you. So your person will be a little bit overwhelmed by the new you. But know that, remember I talked about Six of Pentacles and rebalancing your energy, that they will be a lot more balanced. If it's the same person, they will be a lot more balanced. If it's a new one, it may take time for you to get used to this kind of dynamic, this kind of relationship, where somebody is a lot more grounded, where people recognize that sometimes they need time for themselves and not be dissolved in another person's energy, right? This is healthy. This is not codependent. And then they're manifesting you. So that means they are bringing you into their space by being balanced, by staying high vibe, by being aware of what's happening in their life, of what do they want and who they are. This is beautiful. I love this, guys. Okay, I'm gonna leave it here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll be back with more readings very, very soon. Bye, everyone.